Let's have a quick chat. I'm not going to make you watch this entire video to give you the answer. No, I will never go on a Margaritaville cruise again. These room keys are the last time I will ever show you anything from Margaritaville again. Let me tell you why. We thought, ooh, this will be fun. It's a budget kind of cruise. Let's go for it. Well, how bad could it be? It was inexpensive. It's a couple $100 for a 3-day cruise, easy in and out. We thought this would be great. So we gave it a shot. And because we have a budget-focused YouTube channel, we thought this would be great content for our subscribers and viewers. This way they'd get to try it out. We could let them know how it was, and maybe this could be another great option. Now, we use budget airlines all the time. We stay in budget hotels sometimes, and we've never had an unexpected experience. You kind of calibrate what you expect from budget things, and they're typically fine. It's just not, they don't have all the bells and whistles and the extras. But this was an exception. So I booked the cruise, no problem. But I was traveling with my sister, so we wanted to have the bed split into 2 twin beds. And I specifically chose a room that would allow you to do that. You know, some rooms come with a fixed position bed that can't be split. And for couples and for someone who just wants their own bed, as a solo traveler, that works out great. But for us, we wanted to have each have our own bed and our own space. And so I had to call them. And I called them and I had to stay on hold for about 15 minutes. Finally got to speak to someone. And they assured me that would be no problem, and they went ahead and made the notes, and everything was hunky-dory and fine. So we get on our flight, we fly down to West Palm Beach, we get on the Margaritaville. The boarding process, simple, very easy. They don't adhere to the strict guidelines of your boarding time because they have kind of like a holding area, much like European airports where it's just one large area, and then you're told which gate to go to. It was similar to that, where everybody was kind of in a big room, and then they would call your group individually, and the groups would go off by themselves. So that was no problem. Boarding was a breeze. Then your room's not going to be ready, which is fine. You don't expect it to be ready. Our boarding time was like 11 a.m. and the debarkation time was 9 a.m. So I don't expect them to flip the entire ship in 2 hours. So no problem. So because we were carry-on only travelers, you know, we had our suitcase and our backpack, but we wheeled it right along. We went up to the deck that had the restaurants and the food court, and we had lunch, and it was fine. The food on the Margaritaville was fine. Nothing extraordinary, but nothing gross or disgusting. Everything was very clean. That is one takeaway from the Margaritaville, is it is a very clean ship. The staff is pleasant. Everyone there was very nice. So it comes time to go check into our room. So we go down to our room and I open the door, and of course I'm very disappointed because I open the door and the room is not the room we booked. It's the specific number we booked, but it's not the pictured room we booked. We booked a room with a porthole that also had 2 chairs and a little round table for like coffee and breakfast, 2 beds, bathroom, and closet space. This one had 1 bed, did not have tables and chairs, and the porthole was extremely small, much smaller than the picture. Now I know there's going to be a caveat somewhere that says not all rooms are exactly as pictured. I get that, but this was nothing as pictured. So the room steward came by, and I explained to him, this is not the room that we booked, and we need 2 beds. And he said, this bed cannot be split into 2 beds. I said, I understand that, but we need 2 beds. And he said, it cannot be split into 2 beds. And so there was a communication gap. So I called down to guest services, and they said, yes, that bed can be split. And so I'm like, can you relay that to him, because I'm having a communication gap here? And they said, yeah, sure, we'll do that. And so they sent the supervisor up. The supervisor came in. I had already looked under the bed and seen it cannot be split. It's a fixed bed. So the supervisor came in. He said, yeah, it can't be split. We'll move you to a different room. Okay, no problem. He said it won't happen until about 5:30. Now, we are leaving port at 4:30. So that's an extra hour that we're not in our room. So I asked, why do I have to wait till 5:30? And he explained that way we need to know what rooms are available based on who didn't show up, other rooms that may need to be moved, yada, yada. Okay, 5:30, he shows up with room keys to a different room. We went up, had to go up a floor and down a different hallway, no problem. Open the door, huge porthole, exactly what we asked for. 2 beds, exactly what we asked for. No table and chairs. At this point, I just am kind of over it. And I just want to get unpacked and begin having fun and start the cruise. So I said, what about the table and chairs? And he says, you can't have that in this room. but that's the room I booked. He didn't understand. I don't know. I don't fault the person. I never fault the end user. I don't fault the server for what the chef does. I don't fault the room attendant for what the booking agent did. I mean, it's just, I try to be really fair in my assessment, but I'm already irritated. And so I just was like, forget it. Let's just move about. So the rest of our cruise was great. We had a port day, but we decided to stay on the ship. We had the ship to ourselves. Again, everything was clean. Everything was lovely. The staff was very nice. Wi-Fi is super expensive, so we didn't get the Wi-Fi. But on the last day, on the port day actually, we found a place in the spa that you didn't have to have a spa package to go in and just sit. So we did that. And a gentleman came by and said, hey, if you're willing to take a survey, I will give you internet access free for the rest of the cruise, which was another day, 24 hours basically. We're like, sure, we'll do that. So we did that, and we ended up with free Wi-Fi the rest of the day. So that was kind of cool. Later that night, because it was the last night on board, you can check your room charges, and they're going to show up on your TV monitor. And the TV is huge. Biggest TV I've ever seen on a cruise ship. I may talk myself back into this cruise. No, I'm not. So we look at the room charges. They seem reasonable. They charge $22 per person per day for gratuities, which is typical. But they also charge $15 per person per day for fuel surcharges. That's an additional, for a 3-day cruise, $45 that is added to your bill. So that is a total of $111 that is added to the base rate of your cruise. So you need to factor that in when you are looking for cruise rates. Look at the fine print. I don't know of any other cruises that do that, but I don't cruise a lot. So maybe that's standard practice, but it caught us off guard. So our assumption is that's what we're going to be charged. We get off the ship, we're headed home. I'm home for a day or two, and I'm checking my credit card because I always check my credit card to make sure the charges are right, make sure my points get put in the right place because, you know, we live and breathe points and miles travel. And I looked, and the charges weren't right. They just weren't adding up, but they weren't off by much. So I kept checking them. They were off by $11.88. I couldn't figure out what this $11.88 was. So I looked on Google. Margaritaville, after cruise, $11.88 charge. There are comments everywhere. This is a standard practice for Margaritaville. They go ahead and slap this charge on your card in case you took a towel, in case you took a water bottle, in case you took the bottled water that they charge for that's in your stateroom the whole time you're there. I gave them a call. I said, why did you put this on my card? Oh, because there's a room service charge because you took the water. I said, I did not take the water. How do you know I took the water? I didn't take the water. As a matter of fact, I took a picture of the towels we left behind and the water we left behind. Just intuition. I always take pictures of how I leave things, whether it's a rental car, a condo, an Airbnb. I always just take pictures just in case, to jog my memory and to have evidence that we left the place in reasonable order. Oh, you didn't take the water? No, and I have pictures to prove it. Okay, we'll go ahead and credit that back to you. Now granted, this is after I had to make a phone call, after my cortisol level went up, after my anxiety and stress went up because I have to face another phone call with a customer service agent. Maybe it's just me. I don't think it is, but that's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. I don't mind traveling budget airline, budget cruise line, budget hotels, but you have to be honest. You have to be a company I can trust. You have to show me a bill, and that's the amount you're going to charge me. I think it's underhanded, shady, unscrupulous, and that's not something I can get behind. So I hope Margaritaville will eventually clean up their act, but this trying to charge people after the fact in hopes that they won't notice or care or they've forgotten is unacceptable to me. And that's why we will never cruise Margaritaville again until they change their business practices. I know this isn't my normal content, but it hit me in a way that I need to make sure everybody out there knows. No bueno. See you next time. We appreciate you sticking with us to the end of this video. We share travel tips, packing videos, and tools for navigating the points and miles ecosystem. If this interests you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.